You're not busy. You're just stuck in the wrong things. Is this happening to you too? Busy all day. Yet at night it feels like you didn't do anything important. Do you know what's strange? The things that truly matter keep getting pushed to tomorrow. And that tomorrow keeps moving further away every day. So the real question isn't whether you're working or not. The question is, what are you actually focusing on? And if this becomes clear, half of your problems end right here. So let's understand this. Which things are draining your energy? That aren't even in your control. How, in the cycle of past and future, you end up missing the present. A habit like that looks productive, but is actually slowing you down. Why your phone isn't just taking your time. It's stealing your focus. That one thing everyone wants to manage, but no one teaches. A single word that can make life easier, but is the hardest to say. And most importantly, staying busy and making progress are not the same thing. And in the end, one idea that connects all of this. I won't tell you now. But if you understand that, everything else will become clear on its own. And to understand this idea more deeply, we're talking about Darius Forous's book, Focus on What Matters. Here, from every book, we only take the ideas that actually work in your life. If you find this kind of content valuable, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Now, let's begin. So first, let's talk about that thing that is draining most of your energy, and you don't even realize it. Think about it. You worked hard. You did the work. But the result didn't turn out the way you wanted. And then you got stuck. Why did this happen? What did I do wrong? What will people think? The thinking just doesn't stop. And that's where your energy gets drained. This is what Darius Foroux explains through a powerful idea from Stoic philosophy. The dichotomy of control. The meaning is simple. Everything in the world falls into two categories. One, what is in your control. The other, what is not. That's it. But the problem starts right here. We mix the two. We keep thinking about what is not in our control and what is in our control. We ignore it. A simple example. You gave an interview. Your preparation was solid. The interview also went well. Now you're waiting for the result. And in that waiting, you keep thinking again and again. Will I get it or not? Did the interviewer like me? What are the other candidates like? But what's the truth? The interviewer's mood. Other candidates. The company's needs. None of these are in your control. They never were. The only thing in your control was how much you prepared. How much honest effort you put in. Everything else, external. And you see this pattern everywhere. No reply, upset. No promotion, frustrated. Fewer likes, demotivated. But were any of these in your control? No. So Foroux says. In every situation, ask one simple question. Is this in my control? If it is, put all your energy there. If it's not, let it go. Because thinking about it is just wasted energy. Nothing is going to change. And when you start doing this, something interesting happens. Your confidence begins to grow. Because then every result becomes learning, not failure. And when the fear of failure goes down, you work more freely. So the first step is simple. Divide your energy into two parts. In your control, and outside your control. And what's outside? Let it go. But there's a catch here. Even if you understand this, your mind still gets stuck somewhere else. And that is time. So now let's talk about time. A simple question. In this moment, where is your mind? While working, future. While eating, past. While talking to someone, something else. You are physically here. But mentally, somewhere else. And that's the real problem. Foroux says, we are most stuck in two places. Past and future. Past, which cannot be changed. Future, which doesn't even exist yet. And the present, where life is actually happening, keeps getting missed. And look closely. One thing is common in both. Neither is in your control. Remember what you understood earlier. What's not in your control? Spending energy on it is a waste. So living in the past and future is the same mistake, just in a different form. Now an honest point. Learning from the past isn't wrong. Planning for the future isn't wrong either. But getting stuck in them, that's the problem. The difference is simple. Planning equals action. Overthinking equals loop. Action changes something. A loop only drains energy. Foroux says one clear thing. Your life exists only in the present. Past equals memory. Future equals imagination. What is real? Only now. And if you're not in the present, you're missing your life. An example. You sit down to work. But in your mind it's running. What if this doesn't work? Last time also I failed. The work is right in front of you. But you're not there. And then after a few hours, nothing gets done. Time is gone. Energy is gone. The work is still the same. That's the cost of missing the present. So what's the solution? Very simple. The moment you notice your mind is wandering, ask yourself, what can I do right now? That's it. This one question brings you back to the present. And the moment you return to the present, focus comes automatically. Because focus is not a skill. It's a byproduct. When you are fully aware, you're supposed to be. But there's another problem here. Even if you're in the present, your mind tries to do multiple things at once. And that's where the next mistake begins. So let's talk about that habit. That looks productive, but is actually slowing you down. Multitasking. We all think of it as a skill. I can do multiple things at once. We say this proudly. But what's the truth? Multitasking is not a skill. It's an illusion. Because your brain cannot do two tasks at the same time. What you think is multitasking is actually task switching. Which means your brain keeps jumping from one task to another. And with every switch, a little energy is lost. A little time is lost. And your focus breaks. Individually it feels small. But over the whole day, this is what slows you down. An example. You're writing an email. A notification comes in. You check it, then come back. It feels like just 5 seconds lost. But the reality? Once your focus breaks, getting back to the same depth takes 23 minutes. 23 minutes. Now think. If you get distracted 10 times a day, then practically your whole day is gone. And you feel like you were busy. That's the cost of multitasking. So the solution? Single tasking. One task at a time. With full focus. It sounds simple. It sounds obvious. But this is what works. When you focus on one thing, quality improves. Speed improves. And the work actually gets completed. One interesting point. People who multitask perform worse at every task, even compared to those who do just one thing at a time. It sounds strange, but that's the truth. So what should you do practically? Simple. Whenever there's important work, set a time block. Phone on silent. Notifications off. Everything else later. And during that whole time, just one question. This is what I need to do right now. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. Because we've become so used to switching again and again. That focus feels strange. But as this becomes a habit, you'll notice more work gets done in less time. And you feel less tired too. Because your brain is not constantly switching. But there's a catch here. Even if you've started this, there's one thing that keeps pulling you back. And it's in your hand. Literally. Yes, your phone. One question. What did you do first? Right after waking up today. Most people have the same answer. Phone. WhatsApp. Instagram. YouTube. News. And all of this. Before the day even begins. That's the problem. Foroux says. Your phone doesn't steal your time. It steals your focus. And that difference is huge. Time can come back. But focus? Once it breaks, it's hard to bring back. And the phone is dangerous. Because it breaks it silently. You don't even notice it. Think about it. You're working. The phone screen just lights up. You don't even pick it up. But a part of your mind goes there. What could it be? And just like that, the deep focus you had is gone. This is not a notification problem. It's a design game. Every app, every platform, is built in a way that keeps you there. The more time you spend, the better it is for them. There are entire teams behind this. Psychologists, designers, data scientists. With one goal. Your attention. And you, without any plan, are fighting them. This is not a fair fight. So what's the solution? Not willpower. Environment. Because willpower runs out. Environment doesn't. So practically, while working, keep your phone away. Notifications off. Social media at a fixed time. The rest of the time, it doesn't even exist. Sounds extreme. No. What you're up against is extreme. One more important thing. The first hour of the morning. This sets the tone for your entire day. If it goes to your phone, your mind switches to reactive mode. Other people's lives. Other people's problems. Other people's priorities. And then you start your work. But your focus is already broken. That's why the first hour of the morning should be yours. No phone. No social media. No noise. Just you. Your work. Your thoughts. And when you do this, the day feels different. Clear. Focused. Controlled. But there's another problem here. Protecting your focus from the phone is one thing. But using the energy you have in the right place, that's the real game. And most people make the mistake right there. So now let's talk about that thing. Everyone talks about managing. But what actually needs to be managed? No one tells you. Time. We all say, I don't have time. I wish there were more hours in the day. But what's the truth? The problem is not time. The problem is energy. Think about it. You also have 24 hours. And so does the person you look at and think, how do they get so much done? The time is the same. The difference? Energy. You must have noticed what you can do in 1 hour in the morning. The same work takes 3 hours at night. Same work. Same you. Different result. Why? Because you had energy in the morning. And not at night. So the problem wasn't time. The problem was when you had energy, and when you didn't. Foroux says, every person has a peak energy window. For some, it's morning. For some, afternoon. For some, night. But one thing is common. That window is limited. And most people waste that window. In meetings. In emails. In other people's work. And when they sit down to do their important work, their energy is gone. This is the biggest mistake. So the solution? Simple. Your most important work. During your highest energy time. Everything else. Later. Meetings. Later. Emails. Later. Other work. Later. First, that one task. But just placing the work isn't enough. Protecting your energy is just as important. Which means sleep, food, movement. It sounds simple. But this is the foundation. Less sleep. Less focus. Less energy. Worse decisions. This is not discipline. This is biology. So managing energy means not just planning your work, but also keeping yourself ready for that work. Understand one simple difference. Managing time equals watching the clock. Managing energy equals watching yourself. And when you start observing yourself, you begin to understand when to work, how much to work, and when to stop. But there's a hidden problem here. You try to save your energy. But there's one thing that keeps quietly draining it. And that is saying yes to everything. Yes. A small word that slowly makes your life heavier. And you don't even realize it. Think about it. A friend says, "Hey, can you help me a bit?" Yes. A colleague says, "Join this meeting." Yes. A new task comes. "Take this on too." Yes. And with every yes, your energy, your focus, your time goes to someone else. And when you come back to your own work, there's nothing left. Foroux says, every yes is a no. When you say yes to someone else, you are saying no to something important for yourself. Automatically. And what's the problem? Saying no feels uncomfortable. It feels like people will feel bad. You'll seem selfish. The relationship will suffer. But the truth? Saying no is not selfish. It's clarity about what matters to you. And people who can clearly say no, their yes has value. Because they're not available for everything. A simple test. Next time a request comes, ask yourself, does this add to my important work? Or does it drain my energy? If it drains your energy, then no is the right answer. And to say, no. You don't need a long explanation. I'm not available right now. This isn't possible for me. That's it. At first, there will be guilt. But slowly, you'll notice. The fewer unnecessary yes. The more energy. The more focus. The more control. One more important thing. You don't just have to say no to people. You also have to say no to the things. You keep adding yourself. One more video. One more article. One more side project. Everything feels interesting. But adding everything doesn't increase focus. It breaks it. Foroux says. Focus doesn't grow by adding. Focus grows by removing. And this is where most people go wrong. But now a bigger question. Even after doing all this, do you know why you're doing it? You're busy. You're focused too. But is it meaningful? That's the next question. So now an honest question. Why are you doing all this? Seriously. Focus. Removing distractions. Saving energy. But for what? If the answer isn't clear, then none of this matters. Foroux says. Being busy is different. Being productive is different. But the biggest difference is being productive and doing meaningful work. You can be productive and still be going in the wrong direction. And that's the most dangerous part. Because from the outside, everything looks right. But inside, something feels missing. Think about it. Someone works 10 hours every day. They're focused. They're dedicated. But after 5 years, they realize this isn't the life they wanted. They were busy. They were productive too. But it wasn't meaningful. That's the real loss. So what should you do? First, get clear on what is meaningful to you. This isn't a philosophical question. It's practical. Think simply. What kind of work makes you lose track of time? What is something you would do even without a reward? What kind of work will still matter 5 to 10 years from now? The answers to these questions are your direction. Foroux explains a simple difference. Busy people treat everything equally. Meaningful people choose. They decide. This matters. This doesn't. And based on that, they invest their energy. One more truth. Meaningful work isn't easy. Most of the time, it's hard. But you still do it. Because it matters. That's the difference between motivation and meaning. Motivation comes and goes. Meaning keeps you going. The day you know why you're doing this, you don't need motivation. You just do it. So today, do one thing. Ask yourself, in the next 5 years, what will matter to me? Whatever answer comes, that is your direction. Everything else, noise. And now, if you've come this far, there's one last thing left. That idea that connects all of this. Bonus. If you've stayed till here, you're already ahead of 90% of people. And now that idea that connects all of this together. Foroux calls it the one thing. The idea is simple, but hard to apply. Every day, just one question. What is that one thing today? That if I do it, everything else becomes easier. Or doesn't even need to be done. That's it. This is what creates the difference. What's the problem? We treat everything as important. That's why choosing feels hard. It feels like if you choose one, You'll miss out on the rest. But the truth? That's exactly what you need to do. When you choose one thing, it automatically becomes clear what matters and what doesn't. This is the filter. Now every decision becomes simple. Does this move my one thing forward? If yes, do it. If not, leave it. That's it. And this is where everything connects. Control, so your energy isn't wasted. Present, so you actually do the work. Single tasking, so you gain depth. Phone, so your focus doesn't break. Energy, so you're ready. No, so there's space. Meaning, so your direction is clear. And all of this together creates a focused life. Forous's core message is simple. You don't have to do everything. You have to do the right thing. And the right thing is what truly matters to you. Everything else is noise. So one thing became clear today. Focus is not a skill. It's simply understanding where your energy is going. And why. What's not in your control? Let it go. What's in front of you? Stay with it. One task at a time. Your phone should be in your control. Your energy should be used at the right time. Saying no is not weakness, it's clarity. And in the end, what is meaningful is what you should stick to. Because in the end, you don't have to do more. You have to do what's right. So today, just take one small step. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, don't pick up your phone. First, ask yourself, what is my one thing today? Everything else will start from there. Now you know what it means to focus on the right things. But one question still remains. Is focus alone enough? Or is there something else in the real world that you need to understand? In the next video, we'll talk about Robert Greene's book, The 48 Laws of Power. It's not just about power. It explains how the world actually works. And the truth is, if you don't know these rules, you end up playing against them unknowingly. So if this video helped you, subscribe to the channel. Because the next video might change your perspective. And I'll see you in the next video. On Book Echo English. Where it's not just books, life is understood. Wait. Don't leave yet. There's one more video. And if you miss it, what you just understood will stay incomplete. Watch it now.